What's up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. So if you're researching a Tesla Model 3, you've probably heard about how loud the wind noise gets on the highway. Probably because electric cars are so different from internal combustible engine cars and don't have an engine to make that added extra noise or vibration. So there's actually a lot of different products from a lot of Tesla part sellers and Amazon. And I was actually sent a few products from some of those companies. So in this video, we're going to go over the pre-existing cabin noise and the levels of the dB meter using an iPhone mic. We're going to do an install of all the various products, the door seals, the front kits, and the roof seal kits. And then we'll do another test after all the kits are installed to see if there's a difference in the cabin noise. Let's get into the video. Thanks for watching another video. If you're new here, my name is Dennis. I just picked up this Tesla Model 3 and I make videos about my experience, including a weekly autopilot video in Los Angeles traffic. So if you're interested in any of that, please hit that subscribe. So here are the three kits that we have. We have a roof rubber band basically kit that goes on the top piece of the glass all around the sides. And then we have two of the same door seal and front and trunk seal kits. It looks like I opened this one, it looks basically the same, a bunch of rubber pieces with 3M tape on the other side and then alcohol cleaning primer wipes. So pretty self-explanatory, I guess. It just wraps around kind of all sides of the door on all the doors, including the front and then the trunk and the back. So let's see how long this takes to install this. I'll paste links to all three of these items below on Amazon. I did receive them for free as testing. But it won't affect my review. All right, so let's go ahead and start installing these products. So this is the first kit. It's a base nor roof kit. It's basically a huge rubber band, I guess, with this kind of squeegee to stick it in between the glass at the top. It's in there pretty good, I would say, wrapped around tight around the windows. So now I'm going to go ahead and install the door and trunk front seal kits, and we'll see how that install goes. So this is the kit. The cool thing is that each section is labeled, so you know where to put each of the pieces. It comes with a lot of primer kits, adhesion primer kits. So let's go ahead and start with the rear trunk. So I just put on the trunk, and as you can see, it kind of starts here, goes along the top here, goes along over here, and then goes through here. But there's a good amount of slack, so I guess I have to cut this off. But all right, nothing sticking out. It's actually really sticky, surprisingly. Kind of looks OEM when you put it in the channels. So kind of the same thing with these door kits. It was way too long, but I was able to just rip it to cut it. But you can kind of see how it kind of goes along here. There's already the factory one right here, but this goes around the edges and it goes all the way to the bottom. This is probably the hardest one. This is what they consider the A-pillar. And they basically want you to stick it all the way from the top here, all the way down to the bottom behind these wires. So let's go ahead and try that. Next is the B pillar, which goes from the top here all the way down to the bottom. And that's how it looks. Let's see if we can close the door now. Oh, so you can see the rubber right there in between the seals, kind of like the rooftop up here. It looks like the door stays closed, which is good. Next is the left rear door, probably similar to the front rear door. I'm gonna clean it first and then wipe it with the primer adhesive. Next, we're going to cover the front trunk. So this is probably one of the easiest things to install. It's pretty straightforward, it just falls along the top of the hood and around, and you just stick it on. So let's see if that one actually makes a difference. So the last few bits are pretty much the same as the left side. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that up, and then we can test to see if it's actually going to make the cabin noise softer. Alright, so I just finished and I just drove around the block. The install didn't take too long, it only took about 30 minutes. Some parts were pretty annoying, like the inner door jambs of the front doors, but some parts were really easy, like the front trunk and the rear trunk. You could probably wear some gloves. There is a lot of chemical smell with the adhesive prepper and your hands are definitely going to get dirty. I just drove around the block and I don't necessarily hear too much of a difference. We'll probably test it on our next highway drive to compare against the decibels in the interior of the cabin. But besides that, the kit looks pretty OEM, and you can't necessarily tell that there's been an added rubber piece on all the door frames of the car. So we'll see if it makes any difference when we drive on the highway. So right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit, kind of hold the phone right here as we go through this stretch of road. We're going about 65, 64 miles an hour, maybe 60 miles an hour, a little bit of traffic, but pretty typical, and we'll kind of see what decibels we record within the car. Okay, so we'll record a little bit later when we get up to higher speeds, but that was pretty much a 50 to 60 miles per hour on the I-5 California highway, and we got up to a max of 67 decibels. Which is actually not too loud. I was expecting in the 70s or 80s from some of the other videos I've watched, but it was typically hovering in the 63 to 64 decibels, but we'll record as we get to a higher speed later on. Okay, so we're passing Commerce Casino right now, going 72 miles an hour. We're gonna go ahead and start this audio test again within the car to see how loud the interior cabin gets. Okay, so it looks like the max for that one was 74 decibels, but it hovered in kind of that 67 range as an average and the low of 65. So definitely higher than the last test because we're going at a faster speed. All right, so here's another open stretch of highway going 73 miles an hour. I'm gonna record to see how loud this gets. Okay, so that was pretty much a 70 to 75 mile an hour drive. The max decibels was 73, the average of 69, and the low of 65. So definitely pretty loud in the cabin. So it definitely gets louder when you go at a higher speed. All right, it's a bright sunny day right here. We're gonna be going down the exact same highway that I went through last time. We're gonna test how loud the cabin is now with the new sound reduction kits that we've installed on the doors, the front trunk, and the trunk. The first time I was going through this area, I was going 50 miles an hour and it was a 62 decibel. The second area down this route, we were going 62 miles an hour for a 66 to 67 decibel. And the third area was 80 miles an hour at a 68 to 71 decibel meter rating. So now this is the first area. Let's try and get to 50 miles an hour and let's see what the decibel reading is. So basically we were going about 50 to 54 miles an hour when all the windows are closed, and the minimum was 61, but the average was about 64, which is basically the same as the first test that we did when we went through this area at 50 miles an hour, 62. Maybe when we get past this onto the next on-ramp, we can see if there's any change in the cabin. I think all my doors are closed. My doors and windows are definitely closed, and it's about the same exact decibel meter as before. Okay, so this is the second area. Let's try this. We're going about 59 miles an hour. Hopefully we can slow down to 50 miles an hour, and then we can see what decibel reading we will get. So let's just stay at this coast speed. Okay, so anywhere from 60 to 70 miles an hour, the decibel range was an average of 65 and a low of 64. So that's basically about the same, I would say. The last time we tested it, we were going about 62 miles an hour, and it was about 66 to 67 decibel sound rating. So if anything, there's a little bit of a sound difference between before having a reduction sound kit and after having a sound reduction sound kit, maybe a couple decibels, if that. The next area that we'll check will be going 80 miles an hour, and before we got a 68 to 71 decibel reading, so we'll see if that changes with the new reduction kit. Okay, so this is the second area in which we tested the decibel meter, but I think we were going a little bit faster at that point. We're going 60 miles an hour, so let's see how loud the cabin gets. Okay, so at about 63 miles an hour, there was a minimum decibel rating of 62 and an average of about 64 to 65. We did a 62 mile an hour range last time, and it was about 66 to 67 decibels. So there is a decrease, I would say, of maybe 3 to 4 decibels, if that, for you to hear about a noticeable change, it has to be about 7 decibels or higher. All right, so this is the last area where we tested it. Well, we were able to get up to 80 miles an hour in this area, so I'm gonna go ahead and increase speed to 80. And let's see if we can get up there to test the meter. Okay, so it looks like it was bouncing out all over the place, maybe like 68 to 72 with an average of 70 decibels and a maximum of 75 decibels. So definitely still pretty loud. On my test beforehand when we went to 80 miles an hour, it was anywhere from 68 to 71. So basically the same even with the noise reduction kit. So I would say the noise reduction kit, maybe you'll see a little bit of decibel meter difference, but it's probably not worth it unless you're looking to kind of add those extra seals on your doors or your front trunk or trunk. But I don't see a noticeable difference. The phone doesn't see a noticeable difference. I don't see a noticeable difference, so I probably wouldn't say these noise kits are worth it. But they are pretty cheap. The rubber band is like 10 bucks, and like the doors in the front is like another 20 bucks. So if you want to test it out for yourself to kind of see if you have a different experience, you certainly can. I'll paste the links below on the products that I got off of Amazon so you can take a look and see. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hit that like if you enjoyed this video, and comment below if you've had any different experiences with installing the noise reduction kits and testing it for yourself, if you've seen any difference within the decibel meters. As you can see, I didn't necessarily see any difference, but maybe I didn't install it correctly, who knows. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!